collectively put our money together anywhere
No.
and tell a politician what we want from you. No, we begging and crying. We out there marching in the streets, getting tied up with people who financially put their monies together, but used us as the face, talking about symbolism, right?
Right.
To get their protest agendas together. Because with all of that rioting and all that tearing up stuff in the street and all that burning everything down, because in Philadelphia, it was looking like a war zone. I asked the question to everybody. I said, so what was going on in the city with the discrimination, with the way some black men are dealing with being stopped and frisked and all of that, and all these illegal bad actors in the police force. You're telling me all of a sudden we need one or two people, not even from Philadelphia, to be to die, and then that's when we start blowing up the ATM machines. That's when we start running into the pharmacies and clearing out the pharmacies. Yeah, we were caught on the news, caught red-handed, participating in all that looting and all that carrying on. But you're really telling me that we right now, as we stand, we didn't want to loot, we didn't want to tear the place. You know what happened? Again, someone infiltrated, someone got in the front of it. They said we're gonna take advantage of all the anarchy that we could possibly, have going on in the name of black folks. Again, symbolism. Black people need to be, they need to understand. We need to understand how to be political, and we need to mature politically and stop being so excited about just superficial things.
I
Come on,
100%
Paris,
agree with that.
AKA, and all of this. Come on, man. Come
I
on.
agree with that. And I think we need to start leaning towards more tangible things. I'm sorry for what I missed, but
No, you're
I just
good.
feel like we need to be leaning towards more tangible things. I feel like this her being on the corner, Harriet Tubman on a quarter, or Harriet Tubman being on the $20 bill, it does absolutely nothing for the state of
Nothing.
black people in
Hmm.
this country. And I
No,
mean absolutely nothing.
nothing at all.
And I don't know what y'all said about voting, but when you look up the definition of insanity, it's doing something over and over again, expecting a different
Taking a
result.
different result.
We've been voting for the last what 50, 60 years, right? In all honesty, where has that gotten black people in this country? As far as the presidential aspect, right? Where has that gotten us? Because I, I see I see black kids getting killed with immunity and impunity, and I see all kind of stuff happening, and I don't think much has changed. Um, I mean, we even had a quote unquote black president that said, well, he's not the president of black people. He's the
Right,
president of
right,
all the people in America. And you had other leaders from other countries laughing at him,
right.
literally laughing at him. So that was my question that was the reason I asked when I said, is has voting really gotten us anywhere? I don't know if y'all answered that or not, or if I even asked it, but
Well, what I was saying to King Gene is, well, you have to have money to get politicians to do what you want them to do.
right.
We'll get into the symbolism, because nothing for nothing. We are coming with our hands, empty, begging for something, and then they give you something symbolic in return. Because that's,
Mhm.
if King Gene, if I went to your house right now and I said, King Gene, you know, I'm coming over just to come hang out with you. There's no expectation there.
Right.
There's nothing I should be expecting to get from that. I'm hanging out with you. There's nothing that you're gaining from me hanging out with you,
Right.
right? But that's the
Right.
kind of stuff that we come there with our empty hands. You're going to a poll booth with empty hands, voting for somebody, and all you can do at the end of the day is beg. So now, if I say to you, King Gene, I want something from you, the only thing I can do is beg, and you can find it in the kindness of your heart if you want to give me something. But because I came with nothing, it would be a begging thing. That's the only thing I
Mhm.
could do, or guilt trip you,
Right.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
What
Mhm.
about you, King G? What do you think about that?
No, I absolutely agree. And then a point that Nurse Roxy was sharing that really stood out to me is in amongst the villagers when she talked about how they talked about diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Diversity referred to different physical ailments that you had. It didn't refer to different ethnic
Face.
groups.
Mm-mm.
No, it didn't
No.
refer to that. And so it's interesting that they can organize based upon the common interest, but as our people, and it go back to something she said, and I'm sticking to this also. there will be a line out and around the corner for the new releases of the Jordans. Now we can get together on that. We can get together on that. But when it comes time to do something that's going to help the community as a whole, we just cannot keep it together.
Nope.
We can't. And until we get to that point, there's not going to be any change.
Yep.
Sometimes I think with some of the stuff, and I know that when you don't control your own media, when you don't control your own press, people can flip the narrative whatever way they want to flip the narrative. So I guess I'm not gonna say are we a lost cause, because I've always thought the solution was economics, economic independence. But what is it going to take? I'll ask this, to get everybody on the same page. Is that even possible? Whoever wants to go, because I don't know. I don't know at this point. I really don't know.
I think that economics would be a tool that we could use. I think it would be effective. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you're looking at our community as a whole, are you looking at an a group that's geared toward the same interests, or are you looking at a group of individuals?
Yep. There you go.
Because
There you
Say that
go.
one more. Say that one more time, King James,
There you
for the
go.
people in the back.
are you looking at a group of people that are working towards the same interests, or are you looking at a group of individuals?
There you go.
And the reason why I asked that question, because as a group of individuals, now I'm in this group, I'm standing around these people,
Mhm.
but I got my own agenda.
Yep.
And I'm not willing to take my agenda and put it in the back seat for the benefit of the whole group. So I don't, like I said, the economics would be a good starting point. But I think really we need to get down a little bit deeper than that, because uh, you can't have economics or anything like that if you don't first address the problem with family.
Mm.
So what do
And
you
do
think
it.
we need to start from first, King James?
Um,
Therapy within the homes, within
absolutely,
black homes.
absolutely, my brother. Because it go back to something I say, and I caught some flack about this, y'all. I don't, but I'm gonna say it again. There's a couple people that called my hand that I know and love, and they didn't appreciate me saying it. But if you are a black person in America, you need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be black in America and not be traumatized.
Yep.
Come on now. So if we can start to work toward resolving some of the issues that traumatize us, then maybe we can make a move toward coming back together as a family. And then the more family structures that you have, then the better communities that you have. And then as a community as a whole, we can get back on better footing, man. But I don't know, man. I might just be talking. I'm blowing smoke right now.
What do you think, Nurse Roxy?
I will be sending something to you, CJ, regarding what he just said about the trauma,
Mhm.
because I do believe what I think a lot of us miss is the fact that when you are, let's think, for example, I'll hold it off to another time. I'll hold it off to another time. But I'll say this: when there was another point that came to my mind, but I'm gonna wait until you ask me about it, if you even get around to. If
Go
not,
ahead. Go ahead. Let's break it down. Go ahead.
because when I think about, like, let's say classical conditioning. Remember the Pavlov dog, the dog that, would salivate after he's been trained long enough that the food was going to be coming. So now we just had to ring the bell, right? To me, I think that that's kind of like the sick, twisted way that, psychology, behavioral sciences have just been kind of designed in a way to like target us and to look at the way we think and the way we operate. Of now, one would may argue, well, this is just for human beings altogether. They were studying human behavior. But when you think about the kind of vulnerability that we tend to have, we are usually the people who are going to suffer from those kind of practices. So now just think about how you can create a situation where you you have a person in a neighborhood where there's trash all over the place, right? the school district is just disheveled all over the place. A lot of the issues that they were fighting for with Brown versus the Board of Education at Topeka is the same issue that we're dealing with today, right? All right. And I'm sure in Mississippi, you see some high schools that are still segregated.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. So when so it's one of those things where it's like I think that if we are not careful to deal with the type of trauma that we have to deal with, whether it's finding out that you have a young person in your family who's abusing drugs, committed suicides, been murdered, neighbors murdered, this is such a gloom and doom perspective you would have on things. This reminds me of the conversation we had the other day where I was saying nobody's going to make me feel guilty. I love brother Dr. Umar Johnson, but he's not going to make me feel guilty for me saying that I want something better for my son. It's not because I want to be white or I don't want to be black or I don't want to be down or I think I'm better than anybody. It's because I have made huge sacrifices. I don't live lavish. I live under my means. I treat myself here and there, but I live under my means because I want to be able to have resources that my son is able to tap into so that he doesn't have to be in the toxic environment that I grew up in. I grew up in environments that I consider toxic, and when you are exposed to that kind of stuff, that's why when she's like family. A neighbor of mine's actually suddenly passed away, had a heart attack, 50 years old, suddenly passed away. And it's crazy because she was smoking cigarettes for years, and she was a pretty large stature as well. And when I was told that she just died suddenly, I thought to myself, probably was cardiac related, you know what I mean? Because she's smoking cigarettes all the time. But if you think about some of the behaviors that you see people engage in to get through, whether it's substance use, whether it's legal or illegal, because I still don't understand how cigarettes can be sold at a store. That it doesn't even make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But a lot of times we start looking and digging. You start looking at who's lobbying what. You'd be surprised the people who are funding the the tobacco organizations that kind of have to turn a blind eye, even though they clearly have been doing research that's pointing out all the issues that can happen, with prolonged cigarette smoking. But again, we need to have a certain awareness about what this constant exposure to toxic, stressors, what it's doing to us. And if we're not going to be honest about that, you're going to continue to have generations of children. You'll be like, how did you end up like this? Your parents, they were educated. They tried so hard with you. Yeah, because they were exposed to a bunch of stuff, family members included. Because you got some toxic family members that is not, they have fallen for the foolishness as well.